So in the science of any subject is about fundamentally three things, right? One is about the basic philosophy of what the subject actually is meant to do, and especially in a business context, what is it meant to do for the business, right? That's the first bit of it. The second is how do you really take that philosophy and operationalize that in a real life scenario. And the number three is that every organization is at a level of maturity, and in its whole life cycle it has come there with the sheer hard work, right? So when a practitioner gets there, how do you really absorb yourself into the culture? But from within the culture you take the organization's maturity level to the next higher few levels. Of what I have seen of the WLC content and the way we are debating it out and the way we are thrashing it out and putting detail into the whole thing, we're amply making sure that the philosophy comes out fairly clearly, and one could see that even the previous designs had that one element where what's the real foundation of that subject, so the science that you say, and take that science and put it into the art or application into the organization. So that we're trying to make sure it's as contemporary as possible to today's business scenario, without compromising on the entire academic growth that has happened and all the research and content that has gone. So the science of the whole thing is preserved in that perspective, and taking it from there and adjusting it to the organization and giving the ability to the students that they can go understand what an organization is currently doing and take it on from there and get it to the next level and keep growing in that cycle. Well, giving maximum is really the second or third step. First is, being able to jumpstart themselves and do much better than a lot of their contemporaries would with just the academic abilities. So knowledge is important, but when you take knowledge and add elements of skill, add elements of best practices and processes and attitudes of how you need to run the whole thing, you get a very strong combination of how things would work for an organization. And then comes what, like you said, giving the maximum to the organization. Other thing which I really was impressed by, and normally it doesn't happen, is a very systems view that has been taken to developing this whole curriculum, like some 6 systems that were presented. You have a content system, then you have an ability creation system, and the rest of the operationalizing steps. Normally, you don't see such a thorough systems approach that goes into putting the whole structure in place, unless otherwise expensive universities or expensive organizations or really matured organizations have invested in those kind of systems in place. Like a couple of places where I have set up systems. I have seen where I've done similar work like this, or I've seen other people having done similar work like this, of defining every process. Within the process, what are the elements that go in? Or say, for that matter of fact, when you're talking about the different components of learning, you're talking about adding best practices to it, adding standards to it, detail and pipeline, both ways. Very encouraging.